Yo, what's up? My name is Patrouski, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my creation and just sort of creating the best known method to farm Dittos within PokeMMO. You're going to need, first things first, these very two specific Vaporeons with 31 attack IV on each of them, 0 defense, and then lonely nature. I recommend buying them as EVs and then going ahead and actually just water stoning them. It's really easy to just grab some water stones. You are going to need 2 water stones. You're going to need 2 PP maxes for the move Yawn, which you will get upon evolving into Eevee. A lot of people try to egg move breed Yawn onto Eevee. You don't have to actually do that. It'll just learn it once you actually evolve it into a Vaporeon, which is super nice. And then you're also going to want 2 payday TMs, because you will have to use the TMs to teach the Vaporeon payday. So the main things you need: Yawn, payday, water gun, bubble. The other 2 moves just need to be any sort of other water moves, because you do want water absorb on the Vaporeon, so that once the Ditto transforms into your Vaporeon, he can't catch you. We'll get into more detail into the actual method in a different video. This is honestly just the creation of the Vaporeons.
Now, in terms of actually getting the IVs and the stats onto Vaporeon/Eevee, you could go ahead and try to breed them yourself. You could look for like a 0 defense IV. The way you would do that is going by like 0 defense and looking for like lonely nature on like a Ditto or an Eevee and trying to match that up with vice versa. But when I looked it up, yeah, I can show you guys, they're actually kind of expensive. Look at this, 1 times 0 EVs with lonely nature, because people know this method is still kind of underground. It's honestly not as popular as it should be, and even then, look how expensive this stuff is. It's actually kind of crazy in my opinion. Well, what if we got rid of this? What if we, did the 31 defense after? What if we looked for like just a 1 times 31 lonely Eevee? Oh, the cheapest. Oh, it's just 70k. So, dude, in my opinion, I just went ahead and outright bought. I'm like, you could try to breed them and try to do it, but I'm gonna be honest, breeding these to save a little bit of Pokeyen. You could do it, but it's going to be a really complicated breed, really annoying, really easy to make a mistake. I just went ahead and bought these outright for like 70k a piece. So I just bit the bullet, paid 70k a piece for both these Vaporeons, waterstoned them, bought all the other items. It probably cost me around 100k each to set up each Vaporeon. We can actually do the math. It was like 70k per Vaporeon plus 10k each. We'll do like, so 140k for both, plus 10k each for payday TM, so that's plus 20k each, and then plus, what are PP maxes right now? I just had a big stack of PP maxes, so I didn't really think about it, but PP maxes are 20k a piece, so then plus 40k a piece over on the calculator. Honestly, it's not super cheap to do this. Yeah, we were at 160k, so 160 plus 40 would end up being around 200k. So it makes sense. This is not a like beginner money making method or Dittos. This style of Dittos is not a simple. It's honestly more of an advanced money making method in my opinion. Like the specifications of everything are can kind of be intense for the average player. But anyways, this is what I've come to. Now it's actually time to go EV train everything. So that's what mostly this video is going to be about. I'm going to use my XP Reamplifier. If you don't know, I made a video once talking about how XP Reamplifier wasn't worth it. It kind of is now worth it, honestly, after the changes. They made it so instead of 50-50 XP between the Pokemon lead and the rest of the party, it's actually now 25-75, which is a better buff for it. So XP Reamplifier probably is worth it now, but only if you're an intermediate to expert or advanced player. I wouldn't recommend it to a beginner just because it's too expensive. I almost even wouldn't recommend it to a intermediate player. It's a good item. The problem is that it's really expensive for a good item. We can go check. I think XP Reamplifier is around 1000 RP. It's like it's essentially a 2.2 million fancy XP share. But back on track, I'm going to be EV training these 2 Vaporeons, and hilariously enough, the first stat that I'm actually EV training is 252 special attack on both of them, which is kind of funny. The reason you train 2v2 special attack is because you actually like don't want it to really have any stat, if that makes sense. You only want like 200 or so attack, and then the rest is going to be 50 or so speed, 200 attack, and then the rest is special attack, mostly just to put the EV somewhere. You don't really want it to be much bulkier. You don't really want it to you don't really want the Ditto to copy your stats and be more annoying to deal with. You kind of just want to have that low defense for that Ditto to copy on purpose. Yeah, so all you do, I'm going to come over to Johto. This is probably now my favorite new special attack EV training spot, an incredible spot. ×5 hordes of Giraffe Rig and Flaffy right here. So a crazy, really good shiny if I were to get a shiny here, as well as just a good way to get 10 special attack EVs per horde. I've got my Pikachu that I always use with a bunch of AoE killing moves, Light Ball, and Sweet Scent on himself, which is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and kill a bunch of Flaffies, and I'll see you guys once I'm at 252 EVs in special attack on my Vaporeons. For anyone else who cares, these are the other Pokemon that I am actually EV training today. A special attack in Cranidos to allow me to have one more Pokemon to go XP train at the best XP training spot in the game at Johto, which you do hilariously. It's meta and it's efficient to have a special attack in Rampardos about that. I have videos on that. Vanillite, just a 2x31 Modest Vanillite, which I love this Pokemon, Vanillix. And then a Litwick, that's 2x31 and Bold Nature. Alright, the special attack EV training is done. It felt pretty quick, honestly. EV training is pretty fast nowadays in PokeMMO. I'm going to head over to do some speed EV training. I think over at Line Noon in Hoenn, there's a decent spot for like a pretty cool orange shiny, which is kind of nice. Now, something complicated about EV training / making these Pokemon is that I'm going to have to kind of go into some uncharted waters here. I actually am going to have to kind of calculate things or figure out things for the first time that no one's ever figured out, because we know the calculations. We know what attack. You need around 200 attack at level 100, I believe, 237, something like that, pretty specifically, to be able to kill the Dittos that are over in the Hoenn spot. However, I recently recorded a video testing the Hoenn Ditto spot versus the Johto one, because the Johto added a new one, and I was an old head. I surely thought that the Hoenn one was still going to remain the best Ditto spot, and that the Johto spot was just like a secondary option. That was going to be worse, but oh, maybe you'd get legendaries there passively or whatever. But no, the Johto spot was just as good as the Hoenn spot in terms of Dittos per hour and in terms of the encounter rate per Ditto. So I was really shocked. So apparently it's better to actually farm in Johto now. So, and I've never seen anyone calculate or make these Vaporeons for the Johto spot, which is a totally different level of Ditto. That's the important thing here. Let me show you guys really quick. Let's go to wild locations. Scroll down. Over at Johto, they are level 33 to 35, whereas in Desert Underpass, they're normally 40 to 45. So it's like a 10 level difference here that I have to totally change my stats on. So I'm going to have to be going back and forth between the Johto Ditto spot and between attack EV training to figure out what's going to work. But I'll also only be able to do that at level 100. There's going to be a lot of calculations and a lot of testing in this video, which is not something you guys see a whole lot. I think a lot of people see me put out guides and don't really see how much work goes in behind the scenes. A lot of times I have to kind of do the groundwork and do the testing. It's an amazing thing that someone else found this exact Vaporeon, found these stats, thought of this idea, saw the moves, all these things, right? It's amazing that someone did that, and it's amazing that someone else did a video on this kind of Ditto catching there before, but there's still other things that have to get done, so I don't want to take all the credit, obviously, but it's just there's a lot of work that does go into every little video and guide like this, which is cool to do these little behind the scenes, showing you guys what I'm doing to come up with these. But I think the Line Noon spot is just over in this area. I think anywhere here I can go ahead and ×5 forward. Yep, really cool orange shiny. I'll see you guys after like 60 or so speed EVs. Alright, I did go ahead and actually purposefully choose to EV train 100 base stat speed on the Vaporeon, since the Vaporeons that were fighting the higher level Dittos were using, I think, 50 or 60 base or speed EVs. I actually feel like I'm going to have to eventually go back and change this. I actually do feel like I am going to have to go lower my attack EVs even more in the future, and I'm kind of preparing for that. I will have to use EV reducing berries. So if you aren't familiar with reducing EVs and doing that, this honestly could be a good video to show you guys that. And people don't use EV reducing berries very often in PokeMMO, but you sometimes have to. So I'm going to jump over to Kanto. We're going to go do some attack EV training. My attack EV training spot of choice nowadays is over at Primeape / Arbok over in Kanto. Kind of an underrated spot, honestly. Some really, really good shinies here. You do need Leppas to actually farm at this spot effectively, and you also have to make this little trek. That's why you need Leppas, right? You have to make a little trek from the Viridian PC all the way over. I thankfully didn't get any encounters there. All the way through here. You basically head up here until a certain grass patch. I also almost forgot, to be fair, that I'm going to need to not be putting attack EVs onto a Litwick and stuff. So I did go ahead and grab some different Pokemon to be attack EV training. I'm going to just be attack EV training this Jolly Dratini with hidden ability access. This Jolly Druddigon meant to be like an offensive choice band. Maybe probably even Life Orb with Sheer Force Druddigon just for the sake of fun. And then this Swinub, which will probably get turned. This is probably one of the ones. I make a lot of Pylo Swines with EV lights for NU. This one will probably be a Mamoswine, Lonely Nature. 31 attack. This will probably end up being more offensive and going that Mamoswine route. But anyways, back to the spot. This grass patch right here in the champion spot. If you just keep heading north, eventually you'll find it. I'm going to go ahead and Sweet Send here, get ×5 hordes of Arbok and Primeape, and see you guys when I'm done my attack EV training. Alright, the EV training is done, at least for now. Obviously, I will have to go back and readjust things. I'm sticking with to attempt with 158 attack, 252 special attack, and 100 speed on each of these Vaporeons. Now, the part that I've been dreading the most, guys, it is time for XP training. XP training just takes so long. There's a lot of XP training to do. I have to get both of these Pokemon to level 100. It's going to be quite a while. So the best thing I can do is honestly pop a Lucky Egg / XP Charm and just try to crank through it as best I possibly can. I do have my Pikachu in my party just for Sweet Send access, and then my Breloom in case I find a shiny. I'm not wasting any XP since these Pokemon are level 100. The XP won't be reverted over to them. I am slightly losing XP because my Rampardos isn't under level, but the problem with, like, you do kind of lose 25% of XP at this spot since you're not going to be able to get, you have to use Rampardos, you have to use a Mold Breaker special attacking Pokemon, and Rampardos just reaches level 100 super quickly. So it only takes 600k XP to get a level 100 Rampardos. So you'd have to have so many special attacking Rampardoses lined up to be able to actually, like, take advantage of all that XP, but it's still worth to go here versus just making a little bit of extra Pokeyen by passively leveling some Discharge Pikachus, for example, over at Tentacruels. This spot is much better. It's much faster XP. I'm going to go ahead and just pop a Lucky Egg, show you what this battle looks like. I'm sure you guys know what this looks like or have seen it before. You can see up here, I have my XP Reamplifier turned on and my Lucky Egg activated. This is just the Dodrio / Donphan spot in PokeMMO. It's the new best XP training spot in the entire game. You do need Mount Silver access for it, so you do need complete Caught OT Pokedex, which is not something everybody has access to, obviously, and Johto. This is, this is endgame content. This is the best of the best. So I'm going to go ahead and just get to XP training. We're starting at level 35. I'll probably see you guys after the hour. The good question is, how much XP can we gain? We're starting at around 50k XP, a little less than that. We started at a little less than 50k XP or so on each of these Pokemon. What will we end with? We need, is it 1 million for level 100? Yeah, I'm curious to see. I'll see you guys after the hour. All right, here comes the end of the Lucky Egg here in 2 seconds or so. I'm not going to be able to quickly weave in this last horde. That's totally okay. But I gained a lot more XP. I actually did a lot better than I expected. Look at this. Vaporeon 92, 94 on this one. They weren't exactly the same level. That's pretty crazy to me. Went from, what, 50k XP to 791k and 843k. Wow, that's like 800k XP gained here. Like 750 or so, 740 or so. That's a lot of XP in 1 hour. Now, I'm going to keep XP training because I do need to get them to level 100. I don't want to go test them on Dittos now and be like, oh, yeah, well, they don't kill. It's good. It's not the same stats, right? I have to get to level 100 to actually see the proper stats, to see what I need and figure what I need to do for there. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue to XP train. All right, the leveling is done. Both Vaporeons are level 100. I'm going to head over to the Johto Ditto spot and test out. Yeah, we're in Johto. Perfect. I'm going to head over to the location and test out if I kill, if I do too much damage, if I do too little. I don't know if I've said it or explained in this video. The reason why I have to have a very specific attack stat is because of Payday. I want to be able to Payday the Dittos to where I red bar them, but not to where I kill them, if that makes sense. So I can obviously catch them. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, here I am at the location. I'm going to lead with the Vaporeon. I'll see you guys with the first Ditto encounter. Now, the spot at Hoenn did use first Ditto encounter. Perfect. The spot over at Hoenn did use Silk Scarf to increase Payday damage on their Vaporeon. I'm going to try the first encounter without Silk Scarf to see if that would be better at this spot with lower level Dittos. So let's go ahead and see. First turn, you want to go ahead and go for a Yawn. Turn number 2, you want to go ahead and go for a Payday. The opposing Ditto is going to go ahead and go for a Water Absorb. Not going to be relevant. I want to Payday. I crit now. Okay, well, I wanted to test, and, well, the only way you can't test is if you crit. So, what are you going to do? 1 out of 16. You are going to, if you crit the Ditto, you're going to kill it. There's not much you can do about that. All right, Ditto number 2. Surely this one won't crit. Yawn turn 1. Into Payday turn 2. Let's see if we can actually catch this Ditto. No crit, but it didn't red bar. It only yellow barred. Okay, so I'm not doing enough damage. Okay, I'm going to run from this fight. It's not worth trying to catch this. I'm going to put a Silk Scarf on. Interesting. I wasn't doing enough damage. I didn't expect that. I honestly didn't expect. I was really worried that I was going to be doing way too much damage. I didn't think that I was going to do too little. Okay, interesting. That's not a problem I was expecting to have, to be honest. So we'll try with Silk Scarf on. All right, Ditto number 3. Let's go ahead and see. Payday with the Silk Scarf is going to do too much damage. No, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good to me, guys. Okay, this might work out. I might not need to change anything, which would be unbelievably ideal. Now, I will have to check. So the strategy here, I'll do a whole video, obviously, on this guide. But now you would go ahead and netball. Netball's so good. I actually really do. I've said this for months and months and months. I think netball is going to get nerfed. I think netball is actually too good, which is really funny. It should have like a 90%. It's a really high chance to catch red bar HP asleep like this, but didn't catch on the first ball. That's totally okay. Yeah, so when it transforms in the opponent, obviously gains the water type. So netball has that 3.5 times catch rate. It wouldn't surprise me if in the future there's a netball nerf coming. There's our first Ditto caught with this strategy. Awesome. So we're at 225 attack, which is slightly lower. I think 12 stats lower than what you would use at the Hoenn spot. Let's go ahead and double check. So that Ditto was level 35 in the wild. They're all going to be levels 33 to 35. The level range is actually really tight compared to 40. Yeah, so it's actually like 2 level range versus 5. I might actually be able to put a few more attack EVs. I could take some speed off and put a few more attack EVs on my Vaporeon if I want to, honestly, to lower the HP pool. I'm going to find the perfect number for you guys. We'll keep doing some testing. It also just depends, obviously, on the IVs and the stats of that Ditto. So, for example, like this Ditto was no plus defense nature and 28 defense. So, like, it could have been a pretty high defense IV, honestly. But if it's defense nature, it might have yellow barred there, which isn't quite what I want. So, but I also don't want to be one-shotting Dittos, right? Like, if the Ditto is a minus defense nature, hasty, and then it's also 0 defense, right? I don't want to be killing that Ditto. So it's a really fine line, finding that perfect amount of stat that you can do. It's a tough line to walk. That, in all honesty, the only way you can like find the proper answer to what the right stat is just by doing a lot of testing, by just catching a bunch of Dittos. So I'll see you guys after that testing. Okay, I'm currently in the middle of my loop from 1 hour. However, I'm killing too many Dittos. I think I've killed around 3 Dittos so far. And there was one that was plus defense nature. It was like Lax or something. It was plus defense nature, so it had plus 10% defense, but only like a 2 defense IV. And even that I killed, which I was kind of shocked by with a plus defense nature. So it's definitely tough finding the right number, but I can tell you this isn't it. I am going to go ahead and probably remove. I'm probably going to remove just, and I think maybe 20. I'm going to go get the attack EV reducing berries. All right, so I was going to get 2 Kelpie berries, but thankfully I just have them. So I do have a berry reducing guide on my channel if you're curious or need that for yourself, but I can go ahead and just use both of these Kelpie berries on this Vaporeon. The problem is I will I'm going to need them for both, won't I? So I do have to go to the GTL. I paused my timer on my video. Don't worry. Let's just, let's teleport back. Let's go grab 2 more Kelpie berries, and I'll also throw 20 more EVs into speed so I'm not gaining random EVs while paydaying Miltanks or something. All right, so if you didn't see before, I'm going to go ahead and do this. 2 Kelpie berries. Is this the right? Yep, Vaporeon. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of them just like that. And bam, boom, it's 10 minus 10 EVs per Kelpie berry, and that is what it looks like. You do need a different berry per EV, so the Pomeg berry, Pomeg, minus is 10 for HP, Kelpie for attack, Qualot for defense with a Q, Hondu for special attack, Grepa, Grepa for special defense, and Tomato or Tomato for speed. Now, I was going to go back to EV training, but I actually have so many vitamins. I can actually show you guys so many vitamins sitting here in my bag that I might as well go ahead and use them. Like, these Carboses are untradeable, probably picked up from the storyline anyway, so I might as well go ahead and do this. I'm going to put 20 speed EVs into both of these Vaporeons, once again, just to essentially fill up their EVs. That's all I'm really trying to do. They don't need to be faster. They already outspeed the wild Dittos. Like, it doesn't really matter. Outspeed whatever they need to. Like, the speed doesn't really matter. It's just to lower the attack. So let's go back and test out with this new stat. For those curious, we are now sitting at 220 total attack stat and 138 in EVs. Okay, I seem to be doing better for a while, but I killed another Ditto. So I might need to lower the attack EV even more. I'm gonna keep testing. If that was like a hyper niche Ditto that, you know what, it's like, I don't know, like minus defense nature and like 5 defense IV, then I'm kind of okay with killing. I don't know. It's tough because I don't want to be doing too little damage to where once again, a plus defense nature level 35 Ditto with a high IV, where it becomes like impossible to catch. Now it's yellow barred. Like you do want max catch rate. So it's once again, it's a tough line to walk, and I'm trying to innovate and find what the best calculation is. Nope, I killed another. I need less. Oh, there we go. Back-to-back kills. I need less attack EVs. It is confirmed. 138 is still too darn high. So, Kelpsy Berries, come save me. All right, 2 Kelpsy Berries used on each Vaporeon, bringing them down to 118 attack EVs, which did lower their attack stat by 6 from 220 down to 214. I'm going to use the Carboses, put some more speed into them. Let's see if this is the magic number. All right, here's a level 33 Ditto. These are the ones that I keep having problems with and keep killing. Okay, there we go. It lived at 5% HP. That's all I need. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and netball and see. Now, I'm going to have to keep an eye on level 35 Dittos. If I start yellow barring those, we'll have to adjust, but this could be a good sign. Let me check the stats on it. I'm checking the stats on each individual Ditto to get an idea. This one was sassy, so no plus defense nature, low defense IV. If that thing was minus defense nature, I think I would have killed there, right? For sure. I don't know if there's going to be a way to get around that, though, unfortunately. I might just need to accept the fact that if the Ditto has a minus defense nature, it just dies. But the problem is, how many Dittos is that? I know I'm going to crit some. There's a 1 out of 16 chance to crit, and then you're going to end up gentle. There's like lax or gentle. One of those would kill, and there's also hasty. There's lonely. So it's like 3 or so. There might be like 3 or 4 natures of Dittos that just die. This one I was able to do 89.5. So like now I'm doing not enough damage. It lowers the catch rate a fair bit. 10%. I'm curious to see if I start yellow barring some of them. Killed. Okay, that one crit. I was about to say I killed another Ditto, but at least that one crit. We can't put that into the data. All right, I'm sick of testing. It's time to run the numbers. We're bringing up the Pokemon Showdown damage calculator, fellas. I know this all looks very, very confusing if you've never seen this before, but don't worry. The only thing you need to worry about is this little part right here. So with 118 Lonely Nature attack Vaporeon paydaying a Ditto that's copied the Vaporeon's defense IV. That's the important part. So it does have 112 defense stat. Then this should be the damage roll against a quiet natured Ditto. I just picked quiet because it's not minus defense, or it's a neutral nature essentially. Here's bashful, same calculation. Doesn't affect defense, doesn't affect these calculations. Here is bold, which is plus defense nature. So there is still a 2% chance I OKO plus natured. I feel like I'm doing a calculation wrong. Here's the problem. It's really tough to actually get this calculator correct when working with Dittos, since they copy stats. It's kind of complicated. If you guys have any suggestions on that in the comments, let me know. But this is the numbers that I'm coming up with. So still a 2% chance to OKO a bold nature. So it still says my attack stat's too high, but there's also a chance it could almost be yellow barred. It's at 86.9. So I could do 14% or whatever, essentially 13%, which is more HP than I would like. And that's with 0. The problem is that's with 0 IV. Now this is with 31 defense IV bold nature. Look at that. That's not good damage. That's not going to help me catch that Ditto properly. And then if I go ahead and switch this to back to 0 defense, and then I go over to a minus defense nature, let's say gentle, well, now I'm always one-shotting it. And this is the kind of problem that I'm running into with this strategy. The strategy does seem to be the best, but I think you kind of have to just acknowledge that you're not going to be able to, you're going to kill some Dittos. I think that's the only downside of the strategy is that you will kill some Dittos. That's really what happens. So I'm trying to find a way if there's anything around this. Like if I go ahead and let's say I lower my attack EVs down to 100 from 118, I'm still always killing the 0 IV, you know, minus defense. But what if I have like what if the Ditto has like 10 defense IV, but it's minus, you know, defense nature, and I lower AT? Even at that, it's like what, almost like a 1% chance for that Ditto to live. Like, it's the problem is even if I do all of this stuff, the reality is I'm just never catching a Ditto with a minus defense IV. I think that's the realization I'm coming to. If a Ditto has a minus defense nature, if it's gentle, if it's mild, if it's there's a lot of natures that unfortunately do this. I'm just gonna kill it, and that's kind of what you have to. That's what you have to just swallow that pill, unfortunately. So I don't know if there's a better way around that. I don't want to be not doing enough damage to where I'm not catching like the good IV Dittos. That's like more important to me. Even though hilariously zero defense IV Dittos are actually worth really good money right now, I'm pretty sure in PokeMMO, mostly due to people wanting these Pokemon. So yeah, if you get a well, actually that one might be underpriced. Let's go. Because I was looking yesterday, lonely 0 defense IV Ditto. Yep, they're around 10k a piece. I'm gonna buy that one, just recently listed. These go for like 10k a piece, man. There's not many of them. 10, 20. Like, people need them for these Vaporeon breeds, so it's kind of funny. But anyways, I think this is going to be the EVs that I stick with, weirdly, even though it's not perfect. That's kind of where I'm at. You're just going to kill some Dittos. That's the bottom line. You just got to be okay with that and catch the most Dittos you can catch. We'll see, though. I'm going to do some more anecdotal physical testing, and if I change it again, I'll let you guys know. You guys must have been screaming at your screens this entire video. I just realized that when a Ditto copies your stats, its nature doesn't matter. So I'm doing all of these advanced calculations. What am I? This is I love doing behind the scenes videos like this, so you guys can see all the mistakes that I make and all the stupidity involved. I am not the best Pokemon player by any means. I'm not the best. I'm kind of mediocre at times. I just try my best to make really good guide content. So I appreciate you guys appreciating that, and thanks for watching. Wow. Anyways, what I've come to learn is that it's all damage rolls. It all comes down to damage rolls, which means I think that I'm doing pretty fine. I think it's just level of the Ditto and damage rolls. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and remove like a few more. I think 10 more attack EVs on each Vaporeon, just a little more, because I am killing some Dittos still. But I think this should be good. I think if I just remove a few more, I think we're about there to where it might work. So now I'm lowering from 214 attack to 212. I think this could be a good change. These Vaporeons are going to be so speedy by the end of this. All right, I just finished the loop for 1 hour, and I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed in the profits per hour. I was really impressed in the amount of Dittos I caught per hour, but the overall profit was just really, really hampered by the low price on 1x31 Dittos right now. It's really hard to make anything above Shido value when every single Ditto with a 1x31 that isn't speed goes for like 5k or less. Only speed is worth around 7k at the moment, and then everything else is just really cheap. And it's really sad to see. Shidos are quite expensive, and then 1x31 Dittos are really, really cheap. So it makes Ditto farming actually, like, it's really consistent Pokeyen per hour, but you're not actually getting up there to like the 220k plus per hour Pokeyen you used to be able to make on this. But I think because of that, more than ever, it's probably a good time to have an alt account to farm your Dittos for you, since Shidos are expensive and good IV Dittos are cheap. It just kind of makes it, there's not that many Ditto farmers, and Ditto farming isn't that good for Pokeyen per hour, but tons of Edge Hunters and Rare Hunters like myself need 30,000 Dittos per rare shiny. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I also found out that this attack EV is what I've come to. 108 seems to be the best Vaporeon attack EV that I've come to. I seem to kill the least amount of Dittos. You're still going to kill some, but this seems to give you the best catch chance, best range, and killing the least amount of Dittos as well. And that brings us to the end of the video. That's everything. That's it. Hopefully you guys had fun. This was a lot more rambly style of video and a lot more behind the scenes kind of thing, but hopefully it was enjoyable. Hopefully it was a good entertaining factor. Me learn something in the background. This guy just learned something. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Dislike if not, that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. I upload every single day, and follow for streams Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord down below if you're interested in that. And if you want to go above me on it, support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo do go a very long way. Thanks for watching.
watching. Have a great day. Good luck on your PokeMMO grinds. Hey, thank you so very much for watching until the very end of the video. That means the world to me, and everyone on this list means even more to me for helping support the channel every single day. Thanks so much.